Okay, welcome to Social Media Ed. This is the Social Media Ed on planning, preparing, and performing. How to have a positive experience in Google Plus Hangouts on air. Today I have Agile Bill Krebs with me, and he's someone I've been working with recently. I've been helping him with his social media, and he is part of the Agile community. He's he can help teams as a scrum master, trainer, and coach. His specialties include large-scale enterprise teams and distributed collaboration. Bill has over 20 years of programming performance, project management training, and enterprise coaching. After working at 5 IBM labs, he has designed and delivered training and coaching to large-scale enterprise teams in the financial and healthcare industries. He has used Agile project management techniques since 2001 and taught Agile to over 2,000 people worldwide. Bill is a frequent presenter at key industry conferences and is the author of Agile Journey Index Assessment Technique. He holds the Grand Slam of all 4 advanced level Agile certifications. The list is long, so you can go to his website to get that. Bill hosts the Distributed Agile Study Group, which has a meetup, and I'll share that link with you in my slide presentation, and is active in other professional communities related to Agile project management, training, and coaching. So I welcome Agile Bill, and I would like to have him give us a little brief recap on PlayCamp Online 2015. It wrapped up last Saturday, and I felt like the educational innovations taking place in the 3D virtual space is astounding, and I would like to ask Agile Bill, how would you describe this event to your target audience?
Oh, great. Thanks, Raina. It's good to be here. Yeah, the idea here was to take advantage of new tools to teach better. We're kind of at a habit more than anything else used to slides, either presented face to face or copying that same pattern and presenting them online. And I really think that there's better ways to do it. So the idea with we use technology developed for collaboration or even for gaming, and use those affordances to make the course more engaging. What this means is instead of lecturing to a slide, we can walk around a simulation. We can walk around an art gallery and talk about the artists. We can walk around a submarine and talk about, how ships work. Or we can engage the participant to create their own objects, and then you tell me why you built what you built.
That's great. I really enjoyed the experience myself being new to the 3D virtual space. I understand you have some upcoming events in Agile Leader Hall as part of the Distributed Agile Study Group. Can you tell us more about these events scheduled in July and August?
Absolutely. Well, it's intended to be the best of both worlds. So picture it as a 2-year university. Every week we have a class, and you can start with Agile Foundations, which we'll have this fall, or an advanced course. Some of the folks have taken our basics and they want more. So we have advanced courses, one on business value, business analysis. But this summer we take off to do weird things, weird electives. In July, we have a 4-week session on advanced tools for distributed teams. Where we introduce the concept in PlayCamp, we take it to the next level to show you what happens behind the curtain. How do you build what we built? Be it modeling, programming, or online facilitation.
Great. Well, as everyone can see here, Agile Bill is very comfortable behind the camera, and he's very comfortable in the 2D and 3D space. I've been amazed at the recognition and attention that he's received. So I highly recommend everybody. I'm going to go ahead and screen share my PowerPoint presentation, and it has, hold on one second, his website and the meetup. All right, here it goes.
Excellent.
Just had to move it. Just had to move it so that I could see the Google Hangouts. And here it is. And I'll go ahead and put it in presentation mode
Very good.
so we
Looks
can
good.
see it nice and big.
Excellent.
And I'm presenting it to everyone. Okay, so this is, I'm going to back it up just to,
Now, by honored
okay.
guest, I think the owner's mine to be on the show. So I'll just clarify that.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
You mentioned honored guest, and I just think that the honor's mine to be on the
Oh,
show.
well, thank you. So I am just trying to navigate. So it does take me completely out of the film strip. So that's something since I'm teaching about Google Hangouts on air, I wanted to make sure that people know that when you share a screen, your video is taken out. But there's a way to navigate around that. And my next Google Hangouts on air, I hope I can share that with you.
Yeah. People say my tools are hard. I think they're all hard. I see a
Right,
beautiful picture. It's like the edit mode in PowerPoint, which is what I use when I present because I like to see the slides that are coming up. I know sometimes if you have two screens, you will put output on two screens, confusing me no end when I see one thing and my audience sees another. But I see
right,
right now the editing screen in PowerPoint, which is a good thing because I get to see what's coming up.
right. So I'm advancing the screens and making sure, are they moving for
We're on
you?
slide two
Like,
right now.
okay. All right. So on my computer, it is advancing, and on
There
yours,
we
it.
go. Now
All
I'm on
right.
slide one. By advance, I'll take that to mean change. So that's
Okay.
great.
Well, but do you see also the slide deck on the left-hand side, or do you just see the one, the
This
first
is like
slide?
you're not in presentation mode, you're in edit mode, which frankly
Okay.
I prefer anyway, but it's just
Okay.
not the big slide. I can see your ribbon bar and all that stuff, and I
I
see the
think I'm going to
slides coming at
stay
you.
there because
Yeah.
it works better for me. I can see both screens. So we've announced the honored guest, and it's a privilege both ways. I think a mutual privilege to have each other on this social media ed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just go ahead and dive in. Hopefully everybody grabbed a cup of coffee. I noticed we have 2 viewers. Welcome to Social Media Ed. And the agenda today, we're going to talk about Google Plus Hangouts on Air, what they are, and how it gives you access to a global audience. And then I'm going to dive into planning on Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And through this process, I'll be sharing power tips for power users, which is all from Guy Kawasaki's book, The Art of Social Media, who he co-wrote with Peg Fitzpatrick. And it's straight from chapter 8, how to run Google Plus Hangouts on air. And then the takeaway today is hype your Hangout. So if we have time, I'll take you right to it and try to do a share screen. Otherwise, it's very user friendly. You could go to it and it will walk you through the steps to do a 15-second trailer for your Google Hangouts on air. So Google Hangouts on air, I did a little bit of research this morning. I got up early and found out some interesting information. So it's a new feature that Google has offered to its audience. It in 2011 introduced it to a limited number of Google Plus members, and the first Google Hangouts on Air was released by Will I Am of Black Eyed Peas, and that he produced the first one in September of 2011. And then May of 2012, it was launched to users worldwide. And let me just see what else I have here, which is I will share links in Storify from the Google blog and Wikipedia. But one of the things I wanted to point out is Google Hangouts on Air gives users the ability to create instant webcasts over Google Plus and live stream to their connected YouTube channel. The broadcast can also be recorded for later retrieval. This feature, announced in September 2011, was initially limited to some videocast personalities, but the tool has since been made public, and we're using it today. So it's been around for a long time. I wanted to share with you, Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama have also used it. 3 years ago, their first Google Hangouts on Air so far, because it's been 3 years posted, 87,456 views. And that was 3 years ago. But he's also used it as recent as a month ago. And that was during a, it's called the, okay, a month ago, it was the Seeds of Compassion event in April. Oh, actually, that was not a month ago, but that was an earlier event this year. But a month ago, it was to interact with students of the Tibetan Children's Village School, and that alone received 35,867 views. And that was just a month ago. So it captures your video, shares your content, and it resonates beyond the live event. So I see for small businesses, nonprofits, and the startup community, it's a way to generate awareness about your product, service, or offering, and I think it's a very valuable tool. So I will proceed to the next slide, which is planning. How do you plan a Google Hangouts on Air? It takes a lot of work. You want to promote it and announce it at physical events. I was at a networking event yesterday and I announced it. I was at a networking event on Friday and I announced it, but that's not good enough. Your audience also needs reminders. You do have to create the event on Google Plus or the YouTube channel. And I recommend doing it on Google Plus so that people can actually put it on their Google Calendar as a reminder, or even to have a link to the Google Hangouts on Air. You can use email marketing campaign. And this week, actually yesterday, I leveraged Constant Contact. And I'm going to share with you, actually, I could share that with you right now. In my notes, I have the ROI, return on investment, in Constant Contact or any email marketing campaign is the open rate. You can quickly identify from the distribution list that you send it to people, how many people opened your email. I had a 58% open rate where I sent it to 2 different distribution lists, but the total distribution was 48 people. But one of the lists, I sent it in 2 different methods. One was a simple announcement. The other was within a meeting notes where it had a link to the Google Hangouts on Air. And then, so I see that very valuable because you could see who's reading your email and you can see who's clicking the links within that email. So email marketing campaign is very valuable. And of course, I'm going to talk about social media, and social media is very important in the campaign. Once you create your event in Google Plus as a Google Hangouts on Air, you can share that link in Twitter, on Facebook, on any social media that you've adopted for your business. And then after the event, if you do a summary of the event in Storify, which I used that last week and I shared with my viewers last week how that works. It was very user-friendly. I enjoyed using it. And I had someone favorite my Storify tweet, so I simply invited him to join me this week. So that was the tweet that went out this morning. So you never know who's going to, they call it impressions in Twitter, you know, how many people actually see your tweet, and then the engagement is involving a favorite or a retweet or clicking a link within that Twitter account. So I prepared the slide. This is straight from Guy Kawasaki's book, but it's more about the preparation. What do you need to be prepared for your Google Hangouts on Air? Obviously, having the right equipment. It was easy for me to invite Agile Bill to Google Hangouts on Air because I know he has the right equipment. And that includes having the right headset that has a microphone and a USB connection, or you can have a microphone that's where you don't see the headgear on the speaker and he's showing the USB plug and everything. But so the right equipment includes all of those things. So webcam, the right webcam. Often if you use the camera on your laptop, it's going to project at an awkward angle where the view's not going to be straightforward. You'll be looking up somebody's face, which Agileville demonstrated that. So you want the right webcam, right microphone and earphones. Lighting is important. If you're in a room, pull the shades back, allow some natural light to come in. Agile Bill's demonstrating some bulbs that he used. Can you explain that bulb to us?
Oh yeah,
It's,
sure.
it's a fluorescent?
Yeah, that one's fluorescent because you might have a good amount of light, but sometimes artificial light looks yellow. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
color temperature. So you can get lights designed for photography, and it gives you a more natural lighting. But I find that quite complicated, so I just open the window.
Right.
But you
And
don't sit behind the window because then you get a big silhouetting effect. That's
right.
the biggest thing.
And I recently changed my setup in my space, which when I bounce back to my camera, the audience will be, my viewers will be able to see that, and they could obviously go to my YouTube channel and compare last week versus this week. But does everybody see the background that Agile Bill has? He actually has a screen so that it puts a nice background for your Google Hangouts on air or any video camera production that you do in the digital space. So he has that screen to cover all his fun toys and books.
Yeah, so if you don't have a screen, you know books are nice. In fact, I think the screen is so impersonal. Sometimes for some events, I actually prefer the books.
Right. So then structure. This is straight from Guy Kawasaki's book, Plan, Script, and Organize. Think of yourself as a professor and each of your Hangouts on air as classes or lectures whose purpose is to inspire viewers to reshare them. So that's very important because your content that you're creating, you take the time to create, and the information you're providing, others who view it can share it with other people that they know would think is valuable to them. So create an event page on Google Plus and make sure it's a Hangouts on air and not a straight Hangout, because a Hangout will not give you the capturing of the video. And this helps maximize participation by enabling people to add to Google Calendar. Event page should describe the program. The next item is create a custom header, and this increases visibility, should be 300 by 1200 pixels. And then the create a trailer, I will hopefully be able to share the Hype My Hangout. And then the lower third, custom overlay. A custom overlay, I'll probably do a separate kind of tools, social media ed. It would take time to take you through that. But what we have is a lower third app, which is part of the Google Hangouts toolbox, and simply click through it. And earlier, in one of my earlier social media eds, I did do a demonstration of how to do that, and I got all my viewers to create a lower third app. And I'll probably revisit that and do it again, because that was not a Hangouts on air. That was just a Hangout that I did that earlier social media ed. So to do a custom Hangout, there's a tool similar to Hype My Hangout, whatever the app that I'm going to share with you guys. Yeah, Hype Your Hangout. But the tool to do the custom overlay is Hangout Matrix. So we can talk about that in the future. And then, of course, invite your speakers, new speakers to Google Plus. You need to provide a little bit more hand-holding. I think in this event, it was really Agile Bill Krebs holding my hand, helping me get them connected and inviting them to the Google Hangouts on air. But as you go along, a lot of things you could do to prepare your invited guest. And one of them is to provide them with an email that has detailed instructions. If in case they get bounced out of the Hangouts on air, make sure there's a link they could be able to restart and join back to the Hangouts on air. And then certainly the eighth item, enable people to watch in more places. People do not have to be, they don't have to be Google Plus members to watch Hangouts on air. So if you share your YouTube link to your blog, your website, on your email, or in an e-newsletter, or in any announcements, then anybody can join the conversation. And then it's recommended to wear solid colors, because if you have a striped pattern or something, it's just distracting. It doesn't record well in the video. So Agile Bill wore a beautiful golf shirt with a nice color. Thank you. And then the checklist, it's a long checklist that Guy Kawasaki and Peg Fitzgerald pointed out in his book, and making sure that your viewers have a Google Plus account, although it's not required, but making sure they remember their Google password, and do they have enough adequate lighting? Do they have the right headset with the microphone and speakers? And just really, it's a checklist for your invited guests and audience, so they have a positive experience in Google Hangouts on air. And then the 11th item, rehearse and start early. I will have to admit that I started this morning, I completed my slide deck, and here I am today reading my script. If I were more prepared and well rehearsed, I would not be reading my script. So I apologize to my audience and my future audience that will hopefully subscribe to my YouTube channel and see the up and coming social media ed events.
Well, Raina, I think you told me you wanted to show them both the good way and the bad way, so they can kind of see the difference, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, there's always a means to an end, and that is one. That's a mean way to do it, but sure. Two more things I wanted to add to this list. I know it's a long list. You've got 11 things, but these two we talked about at the social media ed last week, which was how to fall in love with Twitter. But I think both of these two items are valuable to use for a positive experience with Google Hangouts on air. Spread the word was one of the items that we talked about, where when you have invited guests, if you give them enough notice in advance, they can share it to their audience, and their audience can also be invited to the event, so that it just expands the audience. The content is shared, and it's just a bigger and better experience. And then, of course, summarizing on Storify, which I talked about briefly. So the next takeaway, let me see if I could go ahead and first I'll stop screen sharing this. Stop screen sharing. Stop presenting to everyone, I guess. And here I am, Raina's face. And I haven't opened the browser, so I apologize for not being set up on let's see. Can't even find. I should have had this open, so that's part of being prepared in preparation. So if I open, waiting for Mozilla Firefox to launch, and it's Hype My Hangout. So if you just go to hypemyhangout.com, and for some reason, my browsers are not even showing on my screen. That's not good.
There's, I think, a way while you're sharing your presentation, that's fine. Yeah, probably a toolbox thing. I find thinking about content when I speak, and also the mechanics of the tools are always my biggest challenge.
Yeah, and if you have things launched and open, I didn't think I'd go through the PowerPoint as quickly, but so it's Hype. I'm typing it in. If I had the window open, it would have come up. I could have just gone to the screen. And often when you're running a Google Hangouts on air, because of the video, sorry if it's coming through. Did you hear that video? Did you hear it
Yeah, a
though?
little
I want to
bit.
know.
Just, yeah. Just a little bit of voice.
One of those ads that kind of appears while you're
Oh,
trying
don't
to
you hate
search.
those?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm waiting for the browser to load hypemyhangout.com.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to share the screen. And I have a little bit of lag, but let's see. Here we go. There's the screen. Present
There you
to
go.
everyone.
And we're seeing it now.
So that, yeah, so this is Hype My Hangout. So they have a video to help you, and you would just say test um, demo. I'm going to call it demo. Demo. When is it? Oh, it's going to say, we're just going to say today. We're going to say, sure, 12 p.m. Time doesn't matter. Where can people watch it? You could put a link. I'm just going to put my new registered URL and then say done. And then you record your Hype Your Hangout. It should, and you click allow for the video. Let's see, it's probably going to fight. Okay, do I want Google Hangouts to do the video or Hype My Hangout? Oh, so Hangouts is sharing the screen. Stop sharing. No, I want to keep sharing.
Yeah, I always watch those boxes. Sometimes I don't notice those, and I find they're important to say allow or whatever.
Okay, so this may not work. I should have tested this earlier. Nerf worked better on Google Hangouts on Air. And it could be that I'm using Mozilla Firefox instead of Google Chrome, but it's not actually. Oh, maybe it is. Okay, let's see. Is it going to do the 3, 2, 1? Yep, 2, 1. Hi, this is a demonstration on social media ed on how to use Hype My Hangout, and I'm sharing with my audience. I now have 3 viewers. Thank you for attending, and I'm here with Agile Bill Krebs, and I hope future viewers, and then it cuts you off. So if you have it scripted, if you have it scripted and you know what you're going to say instead of winging it like I did, that's how easy it is to hype your Hangout. So you could share that on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, just to get the word out. And I think it's a valuable tool. So I used that for last week's. I didn't have enough time because I didn't give myself enough time to plan and prepare for my Google Hangouts on Air social media ed this week. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this demo that I did for everybody, and I'll stop presenting. And here's, I thought, where's me? It's got my logo. It's not me. Oh, I know why. Because the other application has captured the attention of the video. So I'll cancel out of that. There's no need for me to save that to YouTube because that was just a demonstration for Google Hangouts on Air, and I have it there. So let me go to my camera and see if it, there we go. Technology is great when you can figure it out. It's frustrating when you can't. So we've got 2 minutes left. I appreciate everybody who has attended, my viewers. And if you've missed it, you can always go to my YouTube channel, which soon I'll have a customized URL for my YouTube channel, but I need 500 plus viewers. So if you could please subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. The next social media ed is announced in my SlideShare. So let me go to that real quick in my PowerPoint, which I need to activate. Hold on one second. It's because I just have a minute to tell you the next one is July 14th. Here we go. And I hope to be talking about social media analytics, free tools, and what metrics matter to your business. So please join me on July 14th. Thank you for joining us. Bye, Agile Bill. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.